This is Windows 11 in the EU, where Microsoft actually lets you uninstall Microsoft Edge. Watch, I'm going to uninstall it right now. So we're uninstalling it. We can see right now it's going to disappear from all of the installed apps and Microsoft Edge is no longer there. But watch this. If I now navigate to the C drive in File Explorer and then Program Files x86 and the Microsoft folder, we're still going to find a whole bunch of Edge entries like Edge Core, Edge Update, and Edge WebView. Now, if we go into the Edge Core folder, into the latest version, we're going to have a look at these files right here, and we're going to see that there are a bunch of stuff that awfully looks like Microsoft Edge. There's even Microsoft Copilot here. But here's an msedge application, and if I launch that, it opens the Edge browser. But I thought I just uninstalled it. So what's going on here? Why is there still a fully working Microsoft Edge browser on the system, even though I've completely uninstalled it? If you live anywhere outside of the EU where the Digital Markets Act doesn't apply to you, then Microsoft Edge isn't uninstallable from the Settings app in Windows 11. And by default, when Microsoft Edge is installed on a Windows system, these are all of the folders that you'll have inside of the Microsoft folder under your program files. We can see that there is a normal Edge folder, then there's an Edge Core, Edge Update, Edge WebView, and then a temp folder. And in some cases, you might even have a Copilot folder in this directory here. Now, Microsoft was forced in the EU as part of the Digital Markets Act to make Microsoft Edge uninstallable on Windows if you're living in the European Union. So now what happens when you uninstall Microsoft Edge through the Settings app like this is it does uninstall the Microsoft Edge browser from your system. And once that's done and Microsoft Edge disappears from the list of installed apps, then this Edge folder that you can see right here, that disappears. So Microsoft is uninstalling the Microsoft Edge browser from your system, but the Edge core components are still left behind. And that leaves behind a fully working Microsoft Edge browser. You just can't see it on the surface. You can't see it in the start menu, you can't see it on the taskbar. So for all intents and purposes, the Microsoft Edge browser has been removed, but beneath the surface, it still leaves behind core components according to Microsoft, like Copilot, and then a fully working MS Edge browser that you can still launch and use on the system. Now, according to Microsoft, these core components are needed, especially MS Edge WebView. If you remove the MS Edge WebView 2 component, then a lot of the Microsoft apps can break. For example, the widgets won't be working anymore, the new Outlook app for Windows won't be working anymore, and I guess also Copilot won't be working anymore. Now, a lot of you out there don't want any of those apps working or installed anyway. And if that's the case for you, most of the time, it's also safe to remove these other Edge core components as well. But you can't easily do that from the Windows interface. And in my case, I do go ahead and clean up these other folders as well. For example, the Edge core folder almost uses 1.5 gigabytes of space. And if you've uninstalled Microsoft Edge the EU way, then this folder is just sitting in the background using that amount of space. And the Edge update folder and its scheduled tasks is what's responsible for keeping all of the Edge components up to date. And it's also responsible for getting Edge reinstalled on your system. So if you're like me and you don't care about Microsoft Edge and these components at all, then you can use my utility WinHance to uninstall Microsoft Edge, and it will remove all of those components except Microsoft Edge WebView 2. Now, right here on screen, I'm in the WinHance interface and I'm hovering over the Microsoft Edge app card. And you can see that there's a warning. It says removing this item may cause system instability. Proceed with caution. The reason that warning is there is because, like I explained earlier in the video, if you use the widgets in Windows 11 or the new Outlook for Windows or some Office apps or just various Microsoft desktop apps, then you might run into some issues when Microsoft Edge is uninstalled. Although I try to keep the MS Edge WebView components so that the WebView component still works, some people have reported issues with it. But regardless, I'm not saying that you must do this on your computer. you should proceed with caution. I'm just showing you what I normally do for my own PC. So in WinHance, you can select the Microsoft Edge application, and you can see, although I've already uninstalled it the EU way, it still shows as installed. But once you've selected it, you can just click on uninstall selected items. It'll confirm the removal, and you can also save removal scripts to ensure continuous removal, meaning if Microsoft Edge is ever installed somehow via a Windows update, then it'll just automatically uninstall it. In the terminal output window here, we can see exactly what's happening. It's uninstalling all of the Microsoft Edge components, even the old Microsoft Edge that was in Windows 10. That's actually still available in Windows 11 as well. It does uninstall all of those components, and it does a thorough cleanup of all of the Microsoft Edge components and registry entries as well. So it does take a few minutes, but once it's done, you'll see in the terminal output that it's finished. And if we take a look at the WinHance interface, we can see that the item is now uninstalled because it doesn't have an installed badge anymore. And if we have a look at the leftover files after the WinHance removal, we can see that only the Edge WebView folder is now present. And if we go inside of the folder, it's about 800 megs, we can see that the files that we had in the Edge core folder before, those files are still available in this folder. But if I double click on the msedge application to launch it, nothing happens. So the fallback browser, or the browser that was left beneath under the surface, it doesn't work anymore when you remove Microsoft Edge this way. Now you might be thinking, if you've uninstalled Microsoft Edge this way, is it permanent? Can you undo this? Can you get back the Microsoft Edge browser and all of its components? And the answer is yes, you can do that either via WinHance, or you can install it from the web again. But WinHance is going to be the safest. If you use WinHance and you select Microsoft Edge, then click on Install Selected Items, you can confirm the installation, and it'll then go ahead and download the Microsoft Edge browser via Winget. In this case on screen now, it's downloading it via Winget from the Microsoft Store, and it'll download and install Microsoft Edge to your computer again. Once it's done, WinHance will detect it as installed again, because obviously it's installed on the system again. And you'll have a working Microsoft Edge browser, as you can see in the background there. And if you navigate to the file system, you can see that all of the folders are back to their previous states. You've got the Edge folder, Edge core, Edge update, and Edge WebView with the temp folder. So this completely reinstates and reinstalls Microsoft Edge back on your system. So the point of this video is to show you that if you've uninstalled Microsoft Edge using the EU method, then you're probably unaware that there's still leftover components on your system and a fully working Microsoft Edge browser, although you can't see it on the surface. And if you're like me and you want to get rid of those leftover components as well, then you can use my free utility WinHance, the Windows enhancement utility, to do exactly that. Because I've spent a lot of time fine-tuning those scripts so that they remove all of the unnecessary components, but still leave your computer in a working state. And as a bonus, if you uninstall Microsoft Edge with WinHance, it also has the Open Web Search redirect, meaning it'll redirect any links that used to open with Microsoft Edge to your default browser that you have set on your system. So if you didn't know, now you know.